Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another podcast here with us at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you another part of our sports series. And this time it's an advanced lesson.
That's right. We're heading to the mountains today to take a skiing lesson.
All right, so we're going to be learning about skiing, a winter sport and very popular throughout the world. So before we get started, why don't we take a look at a couple of words in vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
All right, so we're going to hear these two words in our dialogue. The first one is fresh powder.
Fresh powder.
Fresh powder.
Okay, so powder. We probably know this phrase already.
Yeah, but here we're talking about fresh, light snow.
So fresh, light snow that recently fell.
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like powder.
The best kind for skiing on.
Okay, the best kind. All right, so fresh powder. What about our next phrase?
Well, we're also going to meet a 4-time giant slalom champion.
All right, a 4-time giant slalom champion.
Okay, so giant slalom is a type of ski race.
When you probably see it on TV when they go down the hill and they have to go through these red or blue flags, right?
Yep. Now, 4-time giant slalom champion means he won the giant slalom 4 times.
Okay, so this is an interesting way of saying that somebody did something many times.
Right.
So I can say the 3-time Nobel Prize winner.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Or the 5-time Olympic gold medalist.
Okay, perfect. So now it's time for us to go to the mountains with our famous Rick Fields and Bob Copeland, and we'll see what happens.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's dialogue.
Hi, welcome. Today, we are on a snowy mountain, ready to learn English on the ski slopes in a fun and simple way.
Imagine this. The sun is shining, the air is cold and fresh, and there are 12 inches of fresh powder on the ground. By the way, fresh powder means soft, light snow that just fell. It's the best snow for skiing.
Yes, and when we say powder, we don't mean face powder. We mean snow that looks and feels like powder. This is a great example of how one word can have different meanings depending on context.
Exactly. Now, before we hit the slopes, listen to that phrase, hit the slopes. It means to start skiing, just like we say, hit the books when we start studying.
I love that phrase. So before we hit the slopes, we need the right equipment. First, boots. Your boots must fit snugly. Snugly means tightly, but comfortably. Not too loose, not too tight.
Then you snap your boots into your bindings. Bindings are the parts that connect your boots to your skis. The verb to snap means to attach something quickly with a clicking sound.
And don't forget your goggles. Goggles protect your eyes from the sun's glare. Glare is strong, bright light that can hurt your eyes, especially when it reflects off white snow.
Great word, reflect. The sun reflects off the snow, and that creates glare. So goggles are not just cool looking, they are necessary.
Now, beginners usually start on the bunny hill. The bunny hill is the easiest slope. It's gentle and safe for learners. Notice we don't say rabbit hill. It's always bunny hill.
On the bunny hill, you learn how to do a snowplow turn. That's when you make a V shape with your skis to slow down. Plow means to push, like pushing snow.
And let's be honest, when you are a beginner, you might take a spill. Take a spill means to fall down. We use the verb take, not do or make. So we say, he took a spill, not he did a spill.
That's a very common mistake for learners. So remember, take a spill means fall, usually in a dramatic or funny way.
But don't be afraid. Everyone takes a spill in the beginning. Making mistakes is part of learning, whether you are skiing. All right, now that we're standing on the snow, let's talk about what you actually see on the slope. Sometimes the hill is smooth, but sometimes it has bumps called moguls. A mogul is a small, hard bump of snow on a ski run. They can be tricky, so if someone says, "Be careful of the moguls," they mean watch out for those bumps.
Moguls are not for beginners. If you're new, you stay on simple runs. And when we say run, we mean a path or trail down the mountain. So a run is not about running with your feet, it's a skiing path.
Good clarification. Now, when someone skis very well and turns smoothly, we call that carving. Carving means making clean, smooth turns using the edges of your skis. For example, she is carving beautifully down the slope.
And if someone is very talented, especially in an informal way, we might say, "You've got some mad skills." Mad here does not mean angry, it means amazing or impressive. It's slang.
Speaking of slang, skiers often say gnarly or sick. For example, that was a gnarly run, or those jumps were sick. In this context, both words mean exciting, amazing, or very cool.
Yes, and remember, this is informal English. You wouldn't say to your teacher, "Your lesson was sick," unless you are sure they understand slang.
Now let's talk about something exciting, jumping. When a skier jumps very high and stays in the air for a moment, we say they catch some air, or even catch some major air. It means they lift off the ground and fly for a short time.
For example, he caught some major air on that jump. It's a very visual phrase. You can imagine the skier flying.
But sometimes when you try to catch some major air,
After a long day on the slopes, there's another expression you will often hear. Let's call it a day. When we say call it a day, we mean let's stop working or finish the activity for today. For example, we've practiced enough English grammar. Let's call it a day. It doesn't mean we are calling someone on the phone, it simply means we are finished.
and in ski culture, after you call it a day, many people enjoy something called après-ski. That's a French expression that means after skiing. It refers to relaxing, drinking hot chocolate or coffee, chatting with friends, and enjoying the cozy atmosphere in the lodge.
Notice the pronunciation, après-ski. Even if it's French, English speakers use it all the time in ski resorts. So you can say, we're going for some après-ski at the lodge.
Another fun phrase skiers use is grab some freshies. Freshies comes from fresh powder. It means skiing on snow that no one has touched yet. For example, let's wake up early and grab some freshies.
And that verb grab is very common in everyday English. We say, grab a coffee, grab a seat, or grab some lunch. It means take or get something quickly and casually.
I love how skiing has its own culture and vocabulary. Words like bindings, goggles, moguls, carving, yard sale, they're not just words. They help you understand the sport and connect with other skiers.
That's true. And remember, learning vocabulary is like learning to ski. At first, you feel unsure. You might take a spill with grammar. You might forget a word. But if you practice every day, you improve.
So don't be afraid to try new expressions. Use them in sentences. Say them out loud. Hit the slopes. Catch some major air. Call it a day. Practice makes you more natural and more confident.
And if you enjoyed learning English on...
Welcome, ski lovers of all ages. My name is Rick Fields, and here with me is the man that needs no introduction, Bob Copeland.
Thank you, Rick. What a beautiful day here in Aspen, Colorado, where the sun is shining and we've got 12 inches of fresh powder. It doesn't get much better than this.
That's right, Bob. But today we have a special treat for our viewers. We're joined here by Ian Rusi, four-time giant slalom champion. And on this special edition of the show, Ian is going to teach us the basics of skiing. So let's hit the slopes.
Well, first off, let's get those boots on. You're going to want to make sure your boots fit snugly. That's right. Now snap them into your bindings. And you're also going to want a good pair of goggles to protect your eyes. It's a bright day today, so there's going to be a lot of glare out there on the slopes. We don't want you hitting any of those moguls.
Bob, since you're a beginner skier and might take a few spills, it's a good idea to have a good warm pair of dry ski gloves.
Easy there, Rick. Well, let's head over onto the chairlift and test your skills. All right, we're up here on the bunny hill, so Bob, why don't you do a few snowplow turns? Gnarly run, Rick. Nice carving. You've got some mad skills. That was sick.
You want to see gnarly? Well, see that bump over there? I'm going to catch some major air.
Butt plant.
He lost his skis. Yard sale.
Well, thanks for joining us here today. I think that about does it. Bob, Ian, time for some après-ski?
No way, man. We're off to grab some freshies.
Pretty embarrassing for Rick there, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was a little bit cocky.
Uh-huh.
And then he ended up falling.
Well, I think there's a lesson in that for all of us. But what the real lesson is today is language. So why don't we start with language takeaway?
Language takeaway.
All right, on language takeaway today, let's take a look at the first word. We have some bindings.
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 Bindings are sort of like a lock that attaches your boot to your ski.
Mm-hmm. So those are the bindings. I guess it comes from the verb to bind.
Yeah, to tie something so that it stays.
Okay. Binding.
So for example, my bindings are broken.
Okay. And another piece of skiing equipment, and very important, is goggles.
Goggles.
Okay, we have goggles now.
Yep. Not to be confused with Google.
It's spelled almost the same way, huh?
Yep. But goggles are kind of like, imagine a big pair of glasses that you wear when you ski.
Mm-hmm. So it makes people kind of look like flies.
Yes,
They
yeah.
have these huge glasses.
Yeah, and you'll also see safety goggles, which you might wear if you are a mechanic fixing a car or someone working with wood or chemicals or what have you.
Okay, so goggles basically protect your eyes from snow, from the sun, from anything.
That's right.
All right.
So moving on to our next ski word. They said you should wear the goggles so that you don't accidentally go over the moguls.
Okay, moguls.
Moguls.
Okay, moguls. It sounds kind of strange. What are these things?
Basically, these are the bumps that are in a ski hill.
Bumps. Okay, so they're kind of like mini little hills.
Yep.
And they're very difficult to ski over, right?
That's right. You got to be pretty good to handle those moguls.
Okay.
Now, since these guys are beginner skiers, they're starting out on the bunny hill.
A bunny hill.
The bunny hill.
Okay, very popular among skiers. The bunny hill is the easiest hill. So it's where the beginners start to learn.
Yeah, all the kids.
All the kids are on the bunny hill.
All right, and our final words. Actually, we're going to look at two words here because they mean almost exactly the same thing. We heard the ski instructor say gnarly.
Gnarly run.
Yeah, gnarly. So an interesting word, it's spelled Gnarley.
Okay, so, but you don't say gnarly.
No.
You say gnarly.
Yep. And a related word, sick.
Okay, now, sick means to be sick, right?
No, not here. Let's listen to some examples to help us understand.
Example 1.
Those were some sick dance moves. You are amazing.
Example 2.
Jack and I went to the beach yesterday and surfed some really gnarly waves.
Example 3.
Man, the concert last night was sick. I can't believe we got front row seats.
Okay, so basically gnarly and sick, they mean that it's amazing, it was cool.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yep.
So these two words are very, very informal. It's slang.
Yeah, and actually skier slang. Both of these words, I think, originated with skiers, snowboarders, skateboarders. Gnarly dudes.
Gnarly dudes. Okay, so that's all the words we have for language takeaway. But we have some great phrases that we want to take a look at before we listen to the dialogue again. So it's time now for Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
All right, so Rick said that it is time to... So Rick invited everyone to start skiing by saying, let's hit the slopes.
Okay, so to hit the slopes.
To hit the slopes.
Okay, now, we want to hit the slopes. What does that mean?
Go skiing.
Let's go skiing.
Yep.
Let's go to the mountain.
Yep.
Now, we can change the noun slope for something else, right?
Yeah, you can change it for a lot of other different nouns. And why don't we hear some examples of how you can do that?
Example 1.
I really have to hit the books and study for my exam tomorrow.
Example 2.
I'm really tired. I think I'm going to hit the bed now.
Example 3.
Honey, can we hit the supermarket on our way home? I need to buy some milk.
Okay, great. So great examples, and now we understand how we can use the hit the something. All right. What about our next phrase?
Well, Rick warned Bob that he might take a few spills.
Okay, so to take a spill.
To take a spill.
Take a spill.
Fall.
To fall.
Yep.
It means like a light fall or
A pretty dramatic fall.
pretty dramatic. So
Yeah.
you fell.
Yeah.
So for example, instead of saying that little girl was riding her bike and she fell, I can say that little girl was riding her bike and she took a bad spill.
Yep.
Okay. So to take a spill. You have to use the verb take though.
Yes, exactly. You cannot just spill.
Okay. You have to take a spill. All right. What about our next phrase?
Well, you might take a spill when you catch some major air.
Okay. Catch some major air.
To catch some major air.
So am I catching something? How am I catching air? That's impossible.
Well, imagine if you're jumping and your skis are catching the air.
Ah, okay. So I'm in the air for a very long time, maybe?
Yeah, when you catch some air, basically it's like you're flying for a couple seconds.
So you're flying for a couple of seconds. You're very high up in the air.
Yep.
Okay, to catch some air.
Yeah, and you'll hear this phrase when you're, not only when you're talking about skiing, but also maybe if you're driving your car really fast and it sort of jumps up in the air for a minute. Well, not a minute, but a second. That would be catching air as well.
Okay, so to catch air. All right, so they finished skiing. They were kind of tired, and he said, well, let's call it a day.
To call it a day.
Let's call it a day.
Let's go home.
Let's go home. It's over.
Let's finish.
Let's finish the day.
Yep.
Let's call it a day and go home.
But not before we go to our next word, to grab some freshies.
All right, grab some freshies.
Grab some freshies.
Okay, freshies. What are these freshies?
Well, remember we talked about fresh powder? It's that.
So it's an informal way of saying fresh powder.
Yeah, fresh, powdery, light snow.
Okay, freshies.
Yeah, so the snow that nobody has skied on before.
Really good phrases and some amazing vocabulary. Let's listen to this dialogue one last time, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this really fun sport.
Welcome, ski lovers of all ages. My name is Rick Fields, and here with me is the man that needs no introduction, Bob Copeland.
Thank you, Rick. What a beautiful day here in Aspen, Colorado, where the sun is shining and we've got 12 inches of fresh powder. It doesn't get much better than this.
That's right, Bob. But today we have a special treat for our viewers. We're joined here by Ian Rusi, four-time giant slalom champion. And on this special edition of the show, Ian is going to teach us the basics of skiing. So let's hit the slopes.
Well, first off, let's get those boots on. You're going to want to make sure your boots fit snugly. That's right. Now snap them into your bindings. And you're also going to want a good pair of goggles to protect your eyes. It's a bright day today, so there's going to be a lot of glare out there on the slopes. We don't want you hitting any of those moguls.
Bob, since you're a beginner skier and might take a few spills, it's a good idea to have a good warm pair of dry ski gloves.
Easy there, Rick. Well, let's head over onto the chairlift and test your skills. All right, we're up here on the bunny hill, so, Bob, why don't you do a few snowplow turns? Gnarly run, Rick. Nice carving. You've got some mad skills. That was sick.
You want to see gnarly? Well, see that bump over there? I'm going to catch some major air.
Butt plant.
He lost his skis. Yard sale.
Well, thanks for joining us here today. I think that about does it. Bob, Ian, time for some après-ski?
No way, man. We're off to grab some freshies.
Well, we heard the guys talk about après-ski, and actually this is one of my favorite parts of skiing.
What is this? It sounds French.
Yeah, it is. I guess the Frenchness sort of gives it an air of specialness, right? But après-ski is basically the party that you have after you're finished skiing.
So usually you would have parties after skiing.
Right, so you finish your ski day, you've called it a day, you've glided down those slopes, and you head on over to the lodge, the little cabin. Grab a beer or two or maybe some hot alcoholic drink and kick back and relax with your friends.
Wow. So it's popular for families to go to a ski resort and stay there for a couple of days. So
Yep.
this is when you would do this with your friends or family.
Yep. And you know what? If it's with your friends, it's going to last until late into the night.
All right, so it sounds fun. And next time, maybe if you go skiing with your friends and you guys are speaking English now, you can use all these great phrases and maybe surprise your friends if you tell them, let's go grab some freshies or something like that.
Yeah, you'll sound pretty dialed, pretty cool.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today.
After a few tries, something changed. My body began to understand what to do. I wasn't just sliding anymore, I was carving. Carving means making smooth, clean turns using the edges of your skis. The movement felt controlled and elegant. I passed a section full of moguls, small, hard bumps on the slope. They looked challenging, and they were. I tried to go over one, but I bounced awkwardly and almost had a yard sale when your skis and poles fly everywhere after a bad fall. I managed to stay on my feet, though, and I heard someone shout, "That was gnarly!" At first, I thought gnarly meant bad. Later, I learned it meant amazing or impressive in ski slang. I also heard someone say a jump was sick. In everyday English, sick means ill, but here it meant awesome. Context changes meaning, and that day I understood English a little deeper, not from a book, but from life. Later, I gathered my courage and followed a small jump. For a second, I caught some air. That phrase means lifting off the ground for a brief moment. It felt like flying. When I landed, I didn't fall. I felt strong. As the sun started to go down, someone said, "Let's call it a day." That means, let's finish for today. My legs were tired, but my confidence was alive. We walked toward the warm lodge for après-ski, the relaxing time after skiing when people sit together, drink something hot, and talk about their day. I realized something important as I sat there warming my hands. Learning English is just like skiing. At first, you feel unsure, you fall, you make mistakes, but slowly you carve your path, you understand slang, you catch small moments of confidence, and one day, without even noticing, you are no longer afraid of the slope or the language. You are simply moving forward, stronger than before. Hi, welcome. Are you ready to listen to our story? The first time I stood on a snowy mountain, I felt two things at the same time: excitement and fear. The sky was bright blue, the air was freezing cold, and the ground was covered with fresh powder, soft, light snow that looked like sugar. People around me were laughing, snapping their boots into their bindings, and adjusting their goggles. I held my skis and tried to look confident, but inside I was nervous. The instructor smiled and said, "Make sure your boots fit snugly." Snugly, tight but comfortable. I liked that word immediately. When I snapped my boots into the bindings, I heard a small click. That sound made everything feel real. I was officially attached to the skis. Then I pulled my goggles over my eyes to protect them from the glare, the bright sunlight reflecting off the snow. It was beautiful, but it was also serious. This was not just a picture. This was my first step into something completely new. They took me to the bunny hill, the easiest slope on the mountain. It looked small from far away, but when I stood at the top, it felt much higher. My heart started beating faster. "Just do a snowplow turn," the instructor said calmly. I pushed the front of my skis together into a V shape to control my speed. For 3 seconds, I felt balanced. Then suddenly, I lost control and took a spill. I fell straight into the snow. It was cold, but it was also soft. I lay there for a moment, embarrassed. Then I started laughing. No one was judging me. Everyone had fallen before. I stood up, brushed the snow off my jacket, and tried again. That moment taught me something powerful. Falling is not failure. Falling is part of learning. Whether you are skiing or speaking English, you will take a spill. The important thing is standing up and trying one more time.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A skiing race where you must go through flags.
Slalom.
The building that has restaurants and stores on the ski hill.
Lodge.
Winner.
Champion.
Powder, soft, light snow.
Pow.
Start skiing.
Hit the slopes.
Avalanche, lots of snow falling off the mountain.
Avy.
A person who operates the chairlift.
Lifty.
Fitting very tightly.
Snugly.
A steep hill with high sides shaped like a bowl.
Bowl.
Make something attach by pressing down.
Snap.
A bottom part that attaches the boot to a ski.
Binding.
A pair of glasses used to protect one's eyes.
Goggles.
Bright light that is reflected by the snow.
Glare.
A space on the mountain which is used for skiing.
Slopes.
A bump on a ski hill.
Mogul.
A covering of the hands with each finger separated so as to keep it warm.
Ski glove.
A slow, easy turn where you make a V with the skis.
Snowplow turn.
Turn on your skis with your edges.
Carving.
A line of chairs with a moving cable that carries people up the mountain.
Chairlift.
A party or drinks after skiing.
Après-ski.
Ski on the area that has never been skied before.
Grab some freshies.
Falling so hard that you lose all your ski equipment.
Yard sale.
Used to describe a skier that jumps really, really high.
Catch some major air.
Small hill.
Bump.
Awesome. Cool. Used by ski lovers.
Gnarly.
Fall.
Take a spill.
Let's try that faster. Avalanche. Lots of snow falling off the mountain.
Avy.
Fall.
Take a spill.
A steep hill with high sides shaped like a bowl.
Bowl.
A bottom part that attaches the boot to a ski.
Binding.
A slow, easy turn where you make a V with the skis.
Snowplow turn.
A pair of glasses used to protect one's eyes.
Goggles.
A covering of the hands with each finger separated so as to keep it warm.
Ski glove.
Falling so hard that you lose all your ski equipment.
Yard sale.
A party or drinks after skiing.
Après-ski.
The building that has restaurants and stores on the ski hill.
Lodge.
A person who operates the chairlift.
Lifty.
Small hill.
Bump.
Bright light that is reflected by the snow.
Glare.
Winner.
Champion.
Awesome. Cool. Used by ski lovers.
Gnarly.
A line of chairs with a moving cable that carries people up the mountain.
Chairlift.
A space on the mountain which is used for skiing.
Slopes.
A skiing race where you must go through flags.
Slalom.
Used to describe a skier that jumps really, really high.
Catch some major air.
Make something attach by pressing down.
Snap.
Powder, soft, light snow.
Pow.
Fitting very tightly.
Snugly.
A bump on a ski hill.
Mogul.
Start skiing.
Hit the slopes.
Ski on the area that has never been skied before.
Grab some freshies.
Turn on your skis with your edges.
Carving.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Hit the slopes. It's a perfect day for skiing, so I want to make sure that we hit the slopes before 9 a.m. Hit the slopes. You have a test in 2 days and you haven't studied? You'd better hit the books. Hit the slopes. Wow, I have to be at my job interview in 15 minutes. I need to leave and hit the road. Catch some major air. Tom and I went to the skate park last weekend and I took some great pictures of him catching some air. Catch some major air. The car hit the sidewalk and caught some air before it flipped and hit the street. Catch some major air. I'm always afraid of going too fast on the jumps and catching some air. Gnarly. Those were some gnarly dance moves. You are amazing. Gnarly. Jack and I went to the beach yesterday and surfed some really gnarly waves. Gnarly. Man, that concert last night was gnarly. I can't believe we got front row seats. Take a spill. I was teaching my niece how to ride her bike and she accidentally took a spill. My uncle was so angry. Take a spill. Did you see that? The girl tripped on the sidewalk and took a nasty spill. Take a spill. Craig took a spill on his motorcycle and broke his arm. Well, I think that about does it. We've finished up all the work today and we're ready to go home. That about does it for today's class, everyone. Thanks for coming. That about does it for today's meeting. See you all here next week.
This deep dive is all about that thrill you get from learning something totally new, especially when learning it means, learning a whole new language that goes with it. Today, we're taking you on a really exciting journey up a snowy mountain. We're not just learning how to ski, but we're also uncovering all the fun, fascinating slang that skiers use. Just imagine starting completely fresh, like our two adventurers today, Emma and Tom. They're about to step into this whole world of things like freshies, moguls, and a brisky. Our mission, really, is to unpack their whole adventure. We want to pull out every important nugget of knowledge from what they went through. We'll explore the vocabulary, the words that really bring the ski slopes to life, and show you how learning new words can kind of transform a challenge into a story. So get ready to gain a quick but pretty thorough understanding of ski culture and its language. It's perfect for anyone who's curious about mountain life, or maybe just eager for one of those aha moments in learning new English phrases.
Okay, so let's kick off this deep dive by setting the scene for Emma and Tom's very first ski adventure. You need to picture this. It's a cold, clear winter morning, the kind where the air bites just a little, but the sun's already up, making the snow on the peaks look brilliant, white and gold. They've just arrived in this, charming little ski town. Bustling, nestled deep in the mountains, you can smell the pine trees, maybe some wood smoke in the crisp air, and you hear those distant cowbells from the ski lifts. The sky, just perfectly blue, no clouds. And the snow. Yeah, wow, it's shimmering, like diamonds scattered everywhere. So Emma and Tom, they're basically buzzing, a mix of excitement and nerves. This is their absolute first time, a completely fresh start on the slopes. Now Emma, she's always the enthusiast, right? She's almost bouncing, taking it all in, looking around, totally captivated by the beauty. She turns to Tom and just goes, wow, Tom, just look at all that snow. It looks so incredibly soft and beautiful, like a giant fluffy blanket. I can't wait to feel it under my skis. But Tom... Well, Tom's feeling what a lot of us feel when facing something new and maybe a bit challenging.
He gives this little laugh, maybe a bit forced, and admits, yes, Emma, it's stunning, but I've heard skiing is not easy at all. What if I just spend the entire day falling down? I can almost picture myself tumbling right now.
Yeah, and that initial mix, that blend of excitement and apprehension, it's truly universal, isn't it? Whenever we step into something new, that eagerness for discovery, it's powerful, but it often comes hand in hand with that very natural human fear of the unknown. For Tom, it's really tangible, right? The fear of falling, maybe looking clumsy. But psychologically, this is actually quite interesting. A bit of apprehension mixed with real curiosity. It can prime the brain for deeper learning, makes the memory stronger, keeps you more focused, more engaged. So it's not just a feeling, it's potentially a cognitive boost we sometimes leverage without even realizing.
That makes sense. And Emma's response to Tom was spot on, wasn't it? She just says, don't worry, everyone falls in the beginning. We're here to learn and have fun.
Exactly. And that's incredibly insightful. It connects directly to this idea that you have to accept mistakes. Understanding that falling or messing up is just part of the process. It's crucial for learning anything, really. It sort of disarms that fear of failure, takes off the pressure, lets you actually engage and enjoy it. Because without that permission to be imperfect, well, that fear can sometimes make you freeze up, right? Stops you even trying.
That's a really powerful way to reframe it. Giving yourself permission to stumble. So they've acknowledged the nerves. What's the very first practical step for them? They can't just charge onto the snow, right? No, absolutely not. Before Emma and Tom could even think about sliding, or falling for that matter, they needed the right gear. So first stop, the ski rental shop, which, if you're a total beginner, is like stepping into another world, full of specialized equipment and, you guessed it, a whole new language to figure out. The shop worker seemed like a real pro, friendly guy, weathered smile, hands them their skis and boots. And then he introduces their very first new word, a really fundamental one in skiing, bindings. He showed them carefully, explaining that bindings are these crucial parts, the mechanisms that attach your ski boots securely to the skis. They're designed to keep you connected, he said, but also, importantly, to release you safely if you fall hard, helps prevent injuries. Now, full foundational gear, vital for skiing safely and well. And for Emma, this was piece number 1 in the new vocabulary puzzle. She repeated it slowly, kind of testing it out. Bindings. Got it. So they're like the seat belts for my feet.
Yeah, and that highlights something important. The immediate, practical need for specific terminology, especially in an activity like skiing where there's, some inherent risk. Understanding what a binding is and what it does isn't just about learning a word. It's about safety. It's about function. Imagine trying to tell someone there's a problem with your gear, or understanding instructions if you don't know the terms. Knowing binding means you can communicate effectively about a really critical safety component. Modern bindings are actually quite sophisticated bits of engineering, balancing security with that release function. And Emma's analogy, seatbelts for her feet, and her repetition, bindings. Got it. So that perfectly shows how we learn, right? Connecting the new word to something familiar, it helps embed it in your memory, makes it stick.
That's a great point. You don't often think about the engineering behind something like that. Okay, so feet secured. What else? The worker also handed them another essential piece, goggles. Now these aren't just for looking cool on the slopes. He explained carefully that goggles are special glasses. They have tinted, often double-layered lenses. Why? Mainly to protect your eyes from the sun's glare bouncing off the snow, which can be surprisingly intense, blinding even at altitude. They also keep out wind, snow, tiny ice bits, he added. So don't forget to wear your goggles. The sun's strong, and the wind can whip up snow right into your eyes. So yeah, protection is definitely key. And Tom, once he had all his gear on, boots buckled, skis over his shoulder, those sleek goggles on his face, he looks in the shot mirror. And with this hopeful grin, he asks Emma, kind of playfully, so do I finally look like a real skier now?
Well, and there's a psychological angle to gear, like goggles, too. Why goggles and not just snow glasses? The word goggles itself implies something more robust, right? Full sealed protection from multiple elements, not just sun. It's part of that specialized language that makes things clear and unambiguous, like how the worker explained it simply. And Tom's question, do I look like a real skier now? That's wonderful. It taps right into identity and learning, getting the new gear, learning the new words that go with it, even before you have the skill. It can be a huge confidence boost. It's like you're stepping into the role, the persona of a skier. And that's a powerful motivator when you're facing that steep learning curve, the outside stuff, the goggles, the outfit. It starts to build that internal feeling of, okay, I can do this. I belong here. It can actually lower anxiety and increase that feeling of self-efficacy, even if the skill isn't quite there yet.
The power of feeling the part. Yeah, like fake it till you make it, but with equipment helping you feel more capable. So, okay, they look the part, their confidence is maybe getting a little boost, now it's time to actually hit the snow. They shuffle out, skis probably clanking awkwardly, and make their way to what Emma spots on a sign. The Bunny Hill, she points. It's this gentle slope, kind of tucked away from the main runs. That must be the Bunny Hill, she says. Perfect for us. It looks so gentle and safe. And yeah, the Bunny Hill is exactly that, a small, very easy slope designed specifically for beginners, for learning those first steps. Tom visibly relaxes, sighing in relief. Okay, good. Definitely don't want to start too big or steep. Let's practice here first, nice and slow. Then their instructor arrives, cheerful, skis already on. Welcome, Emma and Tom. Today you'll start right here on the Bunny Hill. We'll practice balance, how to glide, how to stop using what we call a snow plow, and how to make your first turns. Remember, skiing is about having fun.
And that Bunny Hill, it's such a great metaphor, isn't it? For any starting point when you're learning something new. It represents that safe, controlled space where you can get the basics down without feeling overwhelmed or in danger. Like in language learning, you start with simple greetings, basic sentences, not complex novels. Or in sports, you practice dribbling before you play a match. It's all about building that solid foundation. Balance, stopping, turning, get those down before tackling complexity. It's crucial because it minimizes that cognitive load, lets you focus on repetition, which is key for motor skills. Your brain's literally building new pathways to coordinate muscles in new ways. And the instructor emphasizing having fun. That's also vital. Positive reinforcement, a good mindset, they're just as important as the technical bits. It frames those early struggles not as failures, but as an expected, even enjoyable part of the journey. Builds positive associations.
Yeah, keeping it fun even when it's tough seems so important. Okay, so onto the Bunny Hill they go. And immediately they come face to face with the very thing Tom was worried about. Falling. They're standing nervously at the top of this gentle slope. Skis feel long, awkward. Goggles are tight. Hearts are beating a bit faster. Their instructor is right there, encouraging them calmly. Okay, beginners, just bend your knees a little, look forward, let your skis slide gently. Don't worry if you fall. Everyone does, especially at first. Falling is not failure. It's just a fundamental part of learning to ski. And Emma, being Emma, eager and ready to try. She's the first one to experience it. Pushes off gently. Skis glide smoothly for a few feet. You see a little smile start, but then balance gone, skis crossed, whoops, down she goes into the soft snow with a muffled thump. But instead of getting frustrated, she just bursts out laughing. Brushing snow off, she cries out, "Ah, I knew it. I knew I would take a spill." Tom, watching from the top, has to chuckle. But then it's his turn. He pushes off. Arms are kind of flailing. Skis tangle up almost instantly. Big wobble. And then whoosh, he also takes a spill. Lands with a soft groan. Emma, half buried nearby, calls out prayerfully, "Welcome to the club, Tom. See, we both took a spill."
Now, this phrase, take a spill, is really insightful from a cultural and psychological perspective. Why does this phrase exist? Why is it so common in skiing? Well, its main function is to normalize falling. Instead of saying I failed or I fell down badly, which sound negative, right? I took a spill, feels lighter, less serious. It's like an accepted rite of passage. Everyone does it. This linguistic framing, it's brilliant for building resilience. If falling is just taking a spill, it's not some huge failure. It's just an expected, almost casual part of the whole thing. You get up, dust off, try again. It reduces that emotional weight tied to mistakes, lets learners focus on the physical task instead of judging themselves. And Tom falling right after, Emma yelling, "Welcome to the club!" That reinforces the shared normal aspect of it, builds camaraderie through that shared vulnerability, turning potential embarrassment into a bonding moment. That's powerful for learning.
I love that. It's all about the framing, isn't it? And finding connection in the shared struggle. That immediate laugh, like Emma's. It's so relatable. Feels like a pressure release valve. So after a few more tries, a few more spills, Em and Tom actually start to get the hang of sliding down the bunny hill, maybe falling a bit less. Their movements become a little smoother, less jerky. Confidence is growing with each successful glide. And this is where it gets interesting. The instructor sees their progress, sees they're getting more comfortable. He points to another slope nearby. This one looks different. Untouched, smooth, soft, no tracks, like a perfect white canvas. He explains, that, my friends, is what we call fresh powder. It's newly fallen, soft snow. Skiers absolutely love it because it's incredibly smooth to glide through and it's very forgiving if you fall. Emma's eyes just light up. Fresh powder. It looks so beautiful and inviting. I want to try it right now. Tom's a bit more hesitant, remembering his earlier spills. Looks from the snow to the instructor. But Emma, big smile, urges him on. Come on, Tom. Let's go grab some freshies before anyone else does.
Fresh powder and grab some freshies. Perfect examples of how specific words don't just describe, they elevate the experience. Fresh powder isn't just new snow. It evokes this pristine, untouched quality. It's the ideal for skiers. And then grab some freshies. That's classic ski slang. Freshies isn't just the snow. It's the act of eagerly seeking it out. Skiing that perfect, untracked snow before anyone else. It embodies pure joy, maybe a little playful competition. And what's fascinating is the contrast, right? Their earlier fear of falling on packed snow versus the absolute joy they find falling in freshies. Emma falls again almost immediately in the deep powder, but she's just laughing, doesn't care. Tom finds falling in it amazing, almost painless. So that linguistic shift from the slightly apologetic taking a spill to the eager grab some freshies, it completely changes their perspective. Falling is now not just normal, it's almost part of the fun. Especially when the conditions make it soft and forgiving, it teaches us something profound. Changing our perspective, even the words we use, can fundamentally turn a potential negative into something really positive and enjoyable. The feel of falling in soft snow creates a totally different, more positive emotional response, reduces that fear.
That's a fantastic shift. From dreading falls to laughing in a pile of soft snow, shows how environment and attitude really work together. Okay, so confidence is definitely building now. Emma and Tom, they feel ready for the next step. The instructor sees it too. Sees their progress, their eagerness. Okay, you two are really getting the hang of it, he says. Ready for something a little harder, something that will really test your turns and balance. See that slope over there? It has what we call moguls. Emma, always curious, tilts her head. Moguls, what exactly are those? Instructor gestures to the bumpy terrain. Moguls are little bumps of snow on the slope. They form as skiers turn around them. To ski them, you need to turn around them, ride the contours. It's tricky, takes skill, but it's also a lot of fun once you get the rhythm. Tom's eyes widen. A flicker of that old apprehension returns. Fun. That honestly looks pretty scary and difficult. But Emma, brave and encouraging as always, replies, "Come on, Tom. We can do it. Let's give it a try." Think of it like a natural obstacle course.
So why introduce moguls now? It's about building more than just basic turns. It's about adaptability. It's about dynamic problem solving, resilience. Moguls demand a very different technique than smooth slopes. They force you to react instantly, anticipate the terrain, make quick decisions about weight, turning. It's very much like tackling complex, unpredictable topics in other learning situations. You master the basics, then you learn to handle variations. Tom's fear. Totally natural response to perceived difficulty. But Emma's curiosity, that's the ideal learner's mindset, seeing challenge as opportunity. And their attempts, Emma making it around 2, then falling, Tom bouncing wildly over 1, they illustrate the process. Engaging with that varied terrain builds confidence step by step, even if you don't execute perfectly. It's about engaging with complexity, learning from that immediate feedback from the environment, and realizing even a fall is progress.
Absolutely. Pushing those boundaries, embracing the challenge, that's where the real learning sticks. And their experience on the moguls, it immediately throws them into some really expressive ski slang. Language that just captures the intensity. Tom, after his wild bounce over a big mogul and a dramatic snow-spraying landing, hears the instructor clap and shout, "Whoa, Tom, that was some gnarly skiing right there." Tom looks up, covered in snow, a bit dazed. "Gnarly? What does gnarly mean?" The instructor grins, explains that in ski slang, gnarly means difficult, dangerous, challenging, but also incredibly exciting and cool. Impressive. Emma, quick as ever, immediately applies it playfully. "Well, Tom, you just had a gnarly fall then. It looked pretty difficult and definitely memorable."
And that's what's so interesting about slang like gnarly. It captures this complex mix of feelings that standard words might miss. Gnarly isn't just difficult, it's memorably difficult, which makes it cool, respected within that group. It implies a challenge that really pushed limits, created a thrill, maybe even a bit of danger, earns you some admiration. It's like a linguistic shortcut for skiers to convey fear, excitement, respect for difficulty, a touch of daring, all in one word. It's a big part of group identity, too. Shows you understand the shared experiences and the values of the ski community. You often see slang like this evolve in groups doing high-risk, high-reward stuff, creates a language outsiders might not get. And Emma using it right away, humorously, shows how quickly you can integrate new language when you grasp the meaning and context. She's really diving into the culture.
And the slang definitely didn't stop at gnarly. Tom, feeling bolder after his gnarly moment, tries another mogul. Lands face first again, cloud of snow. But this time his groan turns into a kind of triumphant shout. "That was sick!" The instructor, laughing, confirms with a nod. Exactly. In ski slang, sick means absolutely amazing or awesome. And yes, your jump was definitely sick, even though your landing wasn't quite so elegant. Well, of course, Emma, with a perfect comedic timing, jumps in. "Wait, sick? Are you saying Tom looks ill? Because he just landed face first."
Right, and this perfectly shows how slang reflects shared understanding and appreciation for extreme experiences, even imperfect ones. Sick is a fantastic example of slang evolution. A word that's usually negative gets totally flipped to mean intense positive approval within a subculture. It's like this linguistic wink. We get it. That was wild, maybe a bit crazy, and that's exactly why it was awesome.
Yeah.
This kind of inversion strengthens group identity, allows for this shared, sometimes ironic, celebration of performance, even if it wasn't technically perfect. What's crucial is that even mistakes, a sick jump ending in a fall, a gnarly tumble, contribute to an overall amazing experience. The language doesn't just describe, it shapes the memory, helps them remember the thrill, the audacity, not just the fall. It proves how dynamic language is, how meaning can be completely redefined and understood implicitly within a group, especially around shared intense experiences. That's why this slang is so powerful for identity.
Okay, so they've tackled moguls, they're speaking the language, their confidence is soaring, they feel like real skiers now. They've moved past those beginner jitters, they're actively looking for challenges. And the instructor, seeing this transformation, has one final exhilarating test for them. He points to another slope, a bit steeper this time, and at the bottom, there's a small visible jump, a ramp of snow built for getting airborne. He tells them, "All right, you two, you've come so far today. Ready for something truly exhilarating? This one is a small jump. If you hit it with enough speed and good form, you might even catch some major air." Tom's jaw just drops, eyes wide. "Major air? What on earth is that?" Mixture of terror and curiosity in his voice. Instructor chuckles. "To catch some major air means to fly high into the air after going over a jump. It's that incredible weightless feeling like you're actually flying for a few seconds, Emma." Of course, her eyes immediately sparkle. Total excitement. She's a thrill seeker. But Tom shakes his head nervously. Hesitant smile. "Exciting for you, maybe," he mutters. "For me, it sounds absolutely terrifying, like a guaranteed gnarly fall." But even though he's apprehensive, you can see he doesn't want to be left behind. Doesn't want to miss the ultimate experience. He won't let Emma go alone.
And think about the mental leap required here. Catching major air isn't just a physical act, it's a huge psychological hurdle. It's about facing that primal fear, heights, uncontrolled movement, pushing personal limits, trusting your skills, which are still pretty new. In any learning journey, you reach a point where theory and basic practice have to translate into brave action, right? The instructor explains the term, demystifies it, but the real learning, the growth, happens when they decide to actually do it. It shows how confronting those internal fears, even with major nerves, can lead to profound satisfaction, that adrenaline rush, a deeper sense of your own capability. The reward isn't just the flying feeling, it's the growth, conquering that mental barrier by daring to try. There's neurochemistry involved too, dopamine, endorphins, reinforcing that push beyond your comfort zone.
Absolutely, that moment of decision where courage meets skill. So Emma, the trailblazer, goes first. Skis carefully down, focused, determined. Jump approaches. She bends her knees like the instructor showed her, pushes off, and whoosh! Airborne. Ah! She screams. It's this amazing mix of fear and pure joy. She hangs there for a second, lands a bit clumsily, wobbles but stays upright. Just avoids the spill, throws her arms up. Yes, I did it. I caught some air. Instructor cheers. Now Tom's turn. Pressure's on. He's at the top, breathing heavily, eyes fixed on the jump, whispering, okay, Tom, you can do this. Just please don't take a spill right now. Starts down, picking up speed, wind rushing past, approaches the lip, yells, here goes nothing, and whoosh! He hits it faster, maybe less controlled than Emma, launches himself way higher than he expected. He is truly flying. Suspended, look of pure astonishment on his face.
And connecting this back, Tom's dramatic flight and, yes, spectacular messy landing, it perfectly illustrates that pushing limits often means risking spectacular failure. He flew higher, got that incredible feeling, but landed sideways. Big boom, tumbles into the snow. But crucially, this isn't a setback. It's proof of his courage, his willingness to fully commit. And the instructor's reaction is key. Whoa, that's some major air, Tom. Followed by, that's the spirit. Falling is part of learning, and you just push your boundaries significantly. That reinforces the positive framing. Tells Tom, tells all of us, even if the landing wasn't perfect, the effort, the daring, the experience is what matters. And Tom's own reflection afterwards, emerging from the snow, grinning, wiping snow off. I definitely took a spill, but hey, that was sick. I was flying. That is a profound shift. The exhilaration of the flight, even ending in a fall, becomes sick amazing. The joy overrides the mistake. Solidifies a positive memory of pushing limits and achieving something impressive. That resilience, that reframing, critical for growth.
What a fantastic arc, right? From fearing the fall to celebrating the flight, even with a spill, really shows the journey. Okay, now imagine them at the end of this incredible, exhausting, thrilling day. Legs feel like jelly. Cheeks are red from wind and sun. Stomachs are rumbling like crazy. That mountain air hunger. They're shuffling back towards the lodge, towards warmth. Tom sighs happily, total contentment mixed with fatigue. That was truly awesome. Can't believe we did all that. But seriously, I'm starving. What do we do now? How do we celebrate surviving? And the instructor, with this knowing smile, reveals what many say is the best part of skiing. Well, my friends, now comes the best part, something many people forget about or haven't heard of. It's called après-ski. Emma, ever the learner, carefully repeats it. Après-ski.
And après-ski. Its cultural significance is huge. The instructor says it's French for after skiing, which is true, literally. But in ski culture, it's a whole essential phase of the experience. All the fun, social, restorative stuff that happens after the skis come off. Eating hearty food, sipping hot chocolate or something stronger, relaxing by a fire, sharing stories of the day, the triumphs, the tumbles. Celebrating the adventure. Tom's confusion. Wait. Hot chocolate counts as skiing, so I can just sit here drinking hot chocolate and call it skiing. That's funny, but it captures the initial surprise. But it's more than just food and drink. It's crucial, fosters camaraderie, allows for reflection, helps process the day's challenges. Think of it like the essential debrief after a big learning experience. Arguably just as important as the skiing itself for solidifying knowledge, processing emotions, cementing good memories. It's where the learning sinks in, connects with enjoyment, turns individual effort into shared stories.
That debrief connection makes so much sense. Consolidating memory, sharing the story. So they ditch the bulky gear, head inside the lodge. It's cozy, bustling. Big stone fireplace crackling, warm glow everywhere. Other skiers are around, warm sweaters, sipping drinks, faces flushed, laughing, recounting their own days. Emma's got a steaming mug of hot chocolate, just smiling, totally content. This is absolutely perfect. Never knew skiing had such a nice ending. Tom leans back in a comfy chair, stretches tired muscles, adds thoughtfully, now I really get it. Après-ski isn't just food and drinks. It's the incredible feeling of relaxing, reflecting, celebrating after a big adventure, celebrating everything we learned and did today. Their instructor, joining them by the fire, nods, summarizes it perfectly. Exactly. Skiing isn't just the slopes, the speed, the perfect turn. It's the whole experience, riding fresh powder, surviving a fall, catching your breath, and then importantly, sharing laughs and stories at the end of the day.
And why is the celebratory, reflective part, this apres-ski, so vital? Because it integrates the whole experience, physically, psychologically. Lets Emma and Tom process the exertion, the learning curve, the wins, the spills, all in a positive, shared setting. The laughter, retelling stories, collective relief, it reinforces that even the hard parts are part of the fun, part of the challenge that made the rewards sweet. This social context, it significantly helps solidify the new knowledge, the memories, makes the whole journey more meaningful. Tom's toast to apres-ski and Emma's addition to apres-ski and all the new words we learned today, that connection is perfect. They haven't just done skiing, they've integrated its language, its culture, its rituals. They're not just skiers, they speak ski culture now. Immersed, that final step of social sharing, powerful memory booster, cements the learning in positive emotion, makes them want to do it again. Hashtag outro sector.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, Emma and Tom's adventure, it really shows us that diving into something new isn't just about the physical skill. It's about immersing yourself in its unique language, its culture. We've unpacked some fantastic ski slang today. From the essential gear like bindings holding you secure and goggles protecting your eyes, to navigating that beginner-friendly bunny hill with confidence. We learned that taking a spill is just a lighthearted way to talk about falling, and it's really part of the fun, especially when you're grabbing some freshies, carving through that beautiful fresh powder. We braved the bumpy moguls and learned what makes a slope gnarly, difficult but exciting. Or a jump truly sick, absolutely amazing. And who could forget that feeling of catching some major air, launching off a jump, feeling like you're flying? Finally, we discovered that sweet reward of apres-ski, the perfect way to reflect, celebrate, and connect after a big day out there. This journey with Emma and Tom reminds us that learning a new skill so often means learning a whole new vocabulary goes with it. It's about finding humor in the mistakes, pushing your boundaries, maybe further than you thought possible, and understanding that the whole experience, the falls, the triumphs, the shared laughs, that's what makes it truly memorable. You don't just learn to ski, you kind of learn to speak ski. You internalize its language, its perspective.
And here's where it gets really interesting for you to think about. If learning a new activity, like skiing, gives you this whole new language that reshapes how you see challenges and successes, what other everyday experiences in your life might have their own secret slang just waiting to be uncovered? What stories could those specific words tell about the people who use them and the unique world they share? Think about the informal language, the jargon maybe, that you use in your own hobbies or at work, or even just within your family. How does that specific vocabulary shape your experience? Does it amplify your enjoyment? Does it connect you more deeply with others who share it? What hidden insights might those words reveal about your own world?